Now today, moving ahead, we have the information on the smart home appliances. Now, we have seen that how the smart homes have become much more automated today with the video door phones and bells, the smart lighting systems, the smart switches and plugs, CCTV cameras, smart monitoring cameras. So similarly, today we have many of the smart home appliances which make our life much more comfortable and convenient. If we consider the heating or the ventilation and air conditioning, it is possible to have remote control of all home energy monitors over the internet, incorporating a simple mechanism which is there at the click of our buttons. A smart network that incorporates communication between various lighting systems, the inputs and the outputs, using one or more centralized devices for the lighting control system. Also, it's possible to have the occupancy of home using smart meters and environmental sensors like CO2 sensors, which can be integrated into a building automation system. Similarly, we have the smart grid and the smart meter for the high solar panel output, which takes care of the machines like we have the washing machines, home robots, and security is also there. The home automation system provides remote surveillance through cameras also. We do have the indoor positioning systems also. Now, apart from this, we do have a Bit Defender box Internet of Things security solutions also. The security solutions which blocks incoming threats and can scan all devices for vulnerabilities. It protects all the devices which are guarded by the internet. Similarly, we have Google Home Voice Controller. These are just the examples which I am quoting. There may be more also. There are more rather. Google Home, the connected voice control from Google. Now, apart from controlling home, it comes with Google Assistant, helping with the to-do lists, the translation, the news, the music, calendar, and many other aspects. Nest Cam indoor camera is the monitoring tool, which has sleek model that one can watch home from anywhere. So you can keep a trace of what all is going on when you are away from your home. Tracker Bravo is a coin-sized tracking device that locates your belongings. So one can think of just placing that sensory unit and you can have the access to the location of tracing the belongings. Maybe, for example, if you have the wallet or maybe keys or for the pets or for small kids, one can have it. Pop home switches lets anyone control smart lighting systems, the music, and the push of a button. One can think of programming each switch with the help of the customized commands to add creativity to the smart home. We also have the Ring Pro Smart Video Doorbell. For the security, one can check who is at the doorstep and one can also speak with them. We have a smart TV. where you can easily connect it with your smartphone, and one can think of linking it with the internet, so that your routine activities are also seen and carried out. Suppose if you want to watch the movie, if you want to watch certain photographs, messages, any audio, video clips, it is possible through the smart TV. So this was about some of the smart home appliances which I spoke about. Now, moving ahead with the smart cars. Now, internet connectivity in vehicles, it allows car companies to connect the software and update in real time, which is a very important aspect. The automobile companies, they use the data from the car to analyze its performance and obtain variable data on how drivers use their cars. Now, more of the connectivity opens up new opportunities for automakers to sell their offerings or services to the customers. So, technology has given us this gift, one can say. If you take an example of a BMW, which is a champion, according to the survey conducted by the KPMG, for 200 automotive executives, those who gave their views or opinions about this aspect. Now, General Motors, Toyota, Nissan, Tesla are also near the top of the list. Those who have introduced the gadgets in their automobiles. The tech companies, Alphabet, Apple, Amazon, and much more companies are taking much considerable efforts behind these connected cars. So we can expect more new innovative things in future. Now, Apple's Project Titan, that has a goal of developing an automotive electric vehicle and has gone through various changes over the last few years. It is using its operating system to enter the auto space. Amazon is attempting to capture control of in-car experience with Alexa, interested in firms that can help drive the voice assistant in car capabilities. The automotive companies use large data from the car to analyze its performance and obtain variable data on how drivers use their cars. Now, more connectivity and technological innovation provides numerous ways for automakers to think about innovations, come up with the innovative ideas to differentiate the offerings, also to gain the feedback from the customer as to what are their expectations. These auto companies, the automobile companies, try to mold the needs of the customers. Many a times they take the feedback. Many a times they are the drivers for the innovations. That is, they see the gap in the many a times they understand the gaps which are realized by the marketers and try to offer by means of the technology to the customers. Now, whenever a company thinks of having some differentiation strategy, the automobile companies naturally they bank on the new differentiated aspect offered to the customers. Here, price is not a criteria. When you add something innovative to the existing technology to the automobile, naturally the customer is going to get benefited through this. Many a times the companies have to go for marketing or promotional aspects as far as these technological innovations are considered. The company spends huge amount on promotions to convince the customers about these technological or technology driven features which are included in the automobiles. Now, connected cars allows the people to stay connected more frequently, and it removes the anxiety while they are on the go. One can think of having the gadgets interconnected. Maybe you can connect it with the devices of the smartphones, or maybe you can have the automizations of the machinery. Maybe at a single go of a command with the voice tracking systems, one can think of having innovative features. As the government is also cracking down on texting while driving, the connected cars are able to solve many problems by letting the drivers keep their hands on the wheel and their eyes on the road as they communicate with the others. So here maybe the drivers can focus more on their driving rather than communicating or connecting with the people. Automakers are connecting their vehicles in two ways, embedded and tethered. Embedded cars use a built-in antenna and chipset, while tethered connections use the hardware to allow drivers to connect to their cars via their smartphones. The app integration is becoming a very popular trend today. So even as far as the vehicles are considered, even app integration is possible. Google Maps and other navigation tools likewise have begun to replace built-in GPS systems. An app like Gas Buddy show the driver where he or she can find the cheapest fuel station in their area. Apart from this, we have the music apps such as Spotify and Google Play, which needs which removes the need for the traditional or even the satellite radio. Now, electric vehicle maker Tesla plans to launch an autonomous ride hailing service, which is the Tesla network itself. So here the companies are going, automobile companies are going a step ahead to have their own inbuilt networks also moving ahead to make the customers comfortable or provide them that much convenience even while the driving the vehicles. General Motors Cruise is in works of launching its own ride-hailing service, Cruise Origin. We're speaking of self-driving cars. business insider intelligence expects them to be the future in this automobile sector. Now, stop and go autopilot is one of the feature which allows cars to drive themselves in traffic jams by assessing the lane ahead of them and moving appropriately. Also, they have the remote valet assistant, which has the ability to actually summon a car in small space, maybe you can say a parking lot, through the connectivity with the smartphones or a smart watch, we can say. Now, apart from this, the highway autopilot with the lane changing includes the blind spot technology to shift the lanes. Now, cars that require a driver behind the wheel but provide an option for them to push a button to let the car drive itself is the next step ahead. So we expect a fully autonomous vehicles, totally driverless, that do not require a driver to be seated behind the wheel or even having a steering wheel in his hands. So this is the future as far as the smart car aspect is considered. Now moving ahead with the next point is a variable computing and smart gadgets. Now, if we see the features of these smart gadgets, variable computing smart gadgets, they are portable while they are operating. That is portable. They are in a miniature form. One can move them from one place to other, or when you move with you as they are variable, they are they can be carried anywhere wherever you go. It also enables hands-free and hand-limited option. So here there is you are free to do whatever work you are doing. There is no need for you physically to intervene the processes or the operations here. That is one of the important features. Now here these gadgets are to be worn, or maybe they are always with the user, one can say, or they act on the behalf of the user. Again, they are able to get the user's attention. So here it becomes very much easy for the people to complete their work with having the gadgets and just giving them the commands. So if you just give them the commands also, the things are in place. That is what it means. Now, the variable computing devices, they have been used in industry since mid 1990s. We had the wrists watches or digital cameras mounted on the head, mobile devices attached to belt, and much more during the 90s. Samsung had come out with a computer mounted on a watch, that is the smart watch. Today we also have the medical tracking of patients who have the chronic diseases, which is on rise. There are the sensors. What are the sensors? They are the devices that collect information from the surroundings, maybe a camera, or motion detector, a thermometer. They are the part of wearables. Wireless sensors and their networks are gaining more attention as the time is progressing ahead. Enterprise wearables, they are used in consumer offerings or products. They provide a hands-free way for employees to engage in real time with context to specific business information, customers, or one another. Now, if you take into consideration the industrial settings, goggles or sensor embedded clothing could help workers who are performing repetitive or hazardous or dangerous tasks, which increases their efficiency and productivity, but at the same time reduces injuries. And while they are working, there is no need for them to take the burden of their health or the hazardous part. Japan is one of the leaders in developing wearable devices. Now, the next is the smart watches. A smartwatch is a computerized wristwatch with the functionality which, apart from timekeeping, they run mobile apps using a mobile operating system. They can function as a portable media players. A smartwatch can collect information from internal as well as the external stimuli or sensors. It may control the data from other instruments or devices. It supports wireless technology like Bluetooth, or you can say Wi-Fi connectivity, GPS monitoring, and communication technologies. We also have today the fitness trackers, or fitness activity trackers, you can say, which is a device or application for monitoring and tracking of the health and fitness related issues, like how much distance one has walked, how many miles one has moved, uh, maybe how many steps one has taken, how many calories one has consumed, the heartbeats, the rate of the heartbeat, or the quality of sleep. Even those are possible with the help of these uh, fitness trackers. They're similar to watches. We also have the digital glasses, smart glasses. So digital glass is an optical head-mounted device uh, which looks like regular eyeglasses. It displays the internet information and responds to voice commands also. Now, most well-known glasses are Google Glass. It has a smartphone-like display which allows the user to take basic smartphone features like you have the messagings or the emails could be done very easily. So these are to name a few of the gadgets. There are many more and have wide applications. So these wearable smart gadgets have helped the masses to have a convenient and more comfortable life while continuing with their day-to-day routine. There is no need for them to focus on these aspects. Now, this was about the smart gadgets and about the Internet of Things. Now, any doubts here? Hello?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we start with the next part then. Now, the next session, next chapter is the digital business ecosystem. Now here it includes the aspects like what are the components actually for the digital business. When we say it's a digital business, that is businesses with the help of internet or their e-commerce platforms. So what all are the components of these digital businesses? This is known as the digital business ecosystem. Here we will see what are the electronic commerce mechanisms, the customer shopping mechanisms like web stores, malls, portals. What are the role of the intermediaries? Who are the intermediaries as far as the digital business is considered? And how they price as compared to the traditional pricing mechanism. Similarly, the structure of the supply chain, which is at the back end, which supports the back end processes, order fulfillment, deliveries, partnering efforts, or sourcing, outsourcing logistics, order fulfillment, the payment part, that is the digital payments by using smart cards, stored value cards, or micro payments. And what are the security or the ethical and legal issues involved with respect to the technology and the privacy. So this is what we are going to see in this third chapter, that is digital business ecosystem. Now the first and foremost thing is the electronic commerce mechanism. Most applications are conducted on internet, basically. The users get the information regarding the databases about the business, about the products here. The enablers of information system, including the databases of the networks, the security software, the server software, operating systems, hardware servers, they are to be established here. They are all a part of electronic commerce mechanism, we can say. So here, basically, it includes two aspects, that is the electronic commerce activities and electronic commerce mechanisms. If we see what all comes under the purview of electronic commerce activities, then the presence and the discovery of information, basically sharing of information. It relates to sharing of information, comparing it, analyzing it. Not only that, but trading, that is buying and the selling. Also the exchange part, collaborative learning, the entertainment, improving the performance and other activities, also recruiting and with reference to customer service. So all these activities are through the electronics commerce mechanisms. Now, when one thinks of buying, exchanging the goods or analyzing or comparing, then the role of electronic markets come at the forefront. Whenever the customer thinks of purchasing, then on the portal, the customer enters through the storefronts or the e-malls or the portals, the e-catalogs with the help of search engines, the shopping carts, the directories, e-maps or the e-auctions here. With the help of Web 2.0 tools, social networking services or augmented reality, the crowdsourcing or traffic controlling here, this all comes under the purview of electronic commerce mechanisms. Also, the payment order and processing security support also. Now coming on to the next part is the online purchasing process. So here, if we see what are the processes here. Now here, whenever a customer seeks for or wants to buy the goods online, there are numerous ways. Maybe the customer directly enters the e-catalogs where the prices are fixed. The customers has a look through the e-catalogs. The e-catalogs, they have the different categories which make the purchasing comfortable for the customers. Here, when you have the classified tabs or classified fields which are displayed on the catalog, it is becomes much more easier for the customer to directly navigate from one field or one area sector to the other. So whenever the customer just clicks on that particular classified heading, when he enters that portal and just clicks the button, there may be a drop down box which gives the number of brands or the product portfolio is there. Then the prices may be negotiated or discounted. That is the other aspect. But this is not for all of the websites or all of the companies here, where one can think of having negotiation. Discountation, yes. Even in the routine affair, also you will find that companies offer the goods or the services at the discounted price. Since it is a competitive era and marketers need to survive in this cutthroat competition, they are willing to pass on the margins to the customers as there are no traditional intermediaries involved. So the discount is ultimately passed to the end consumers. There are also dynamic pricing where the price is not fixed. It is through the auctions or stock commodity exchange. Now, the online purchasing process starts by the customer logging on to the seller's website. Maybe many a times the buyer needs to register on this website. They are asked for the customer details like their phone number or email ID, name and address, etc. Similarly, when the company enters the website, it may not necessarily be the company's website. It may be an intermediary in between the organization and the end customer. So here, entering on the online catalog or by creating the buyer's own account, that is my account tab. So here the options are available. It depends upon different websites and the companies or the intermediaries, how they make the process of registering more convenient. If here the process becomes confusing or tedious for the customers, then again there is a problem. Initially, just to attract the customers, the company should think of having simple processes for registrations. The e-catalogs are on a broader aspect. So the search engines are used to search a particular keyword or object which the customer is looking for. Now, buyers always like to compare prices. So here, the customer, unless and until the customer gets satisfied by moving on through different phases of the buying behavior cycle, they cannot move ahead. And many of the websites help them to compare. So whenever the comparison is done, then the particular item is selected and placed into a shopping cart. The buyer moves to the next tab and goes for the selection of the next category of offering. So when the buyer finalizes the products, he just places them in the shopping cart. Once they complete with this item selections, they go for the checkout page or the checkout list of the items which the customer has purchased. If they are satisfied, okay. If they are not satisfied, if they want to remove something from the shopping cart, maybe spontaneously the customer might have purchased, or there may be the constraint as far as the economics or financial aspects are considered. If the budget is going on more, then they think of dropping items. Even that facility is available. Further, they move on to the shipments cycle, where they come to know when the goods are going to get shipped, or instead of customer, the seller itself displays the date, the tentative date when the goods would be shipped to the end customer. The last part is the payment option, where the sellers give a wide choice to the customers to go for payment options. So once the payment is done, here we say the transaction is completed. As far as the online aspect is considered, in totality, when the goods get delivered at the doorstep, we say that the buying behavior is completed, or the transaction has been closed here. Now, when one thinks of the e-marketplaces, that is where the buyers and sellers come together with the use of electronic platform or e-portals, you can say. There are buyers, there are sellers, and both of them, they come together for their mutual benefit. The sellers are looking for the customers, and the customer is looking for a seller who will satisfy their need. Now here it has the 4 functions, like enabling the flow of relevant information. The customers look for information before moving ahead with the purchasing part. So it's how about the companies or the sellers, how they convince the customers, they attract the customers and pass on the relevant information about the offering to the customer. Maybe whether they can have a very beautiful video placed showing the benefits of that offering, or they may have the detailed process chalked out, so that the customer comes to know about the mechanism and the usage of the offering. So it depends upon the company how they portray with respect to information. The next is providing services associated with market transactions, like maybe the payments. So here, whether they have more options as far as the payment modes are considered, whether the process is convenient for the customers. Also, providing auxiliary services such as maybe legal, auditing, or security services is also one of the function of the e-marketplaces. Now, electronic market is a venue for conducting electronic transactions. We also call it as a e-marketplace, e-market, virtual market, or simply market space. Both the buyers and sellers here come together. They share the information. The buyers think of passing on the information through communicating it to the buyers. And the buyers have access to a large pool of data with the help of this electronic commerce markets. The technology has helped the customer as well as the buyer in many aspects, like with the less time and the less cost, the transaction takes place in between the buyers and the sellers here. Now through this internet mode, there are quick responses. Suppose if the customer has certain doubts in case of purchasing, they can immediately contact the officials. Maybe they have the toll-free numbers, or they can just have the mails, the messages, where immediately if the customer has certain confusion or misunderstandings, they are cleared up. So the time is not lapsed in between these communication. Then and there itself, the issues or the queries get sorted out for the customers, minimizing the waiting time. The market participation can trade the online irrespective of the geographical locations. That is, anybody can place the orders online irrespective of wherever they are located. There are no geographical boundaries as to where the person is staying, from where the orders are placed, and on whose name the orders are placed. Maybe if I want to gift an article or gift something, or place an order for my relative, for my friends or colleague, somebody, it is also very easily possible. So there is no need physically for a person to visit the other person. Or maybe there is some constraint wherein the documents or some other goods are to be placed at a particular destination. It is possible through this e-commerce or e-marketplaces. So it has made the parties, both the parties, much more convenient while transacting with each other. Now moving ahead with the components and the participation of the e-marketplace. There are the customers, there are the sellers, the products and services, the infrastructure, the front end and the back end, all are the components of the e-marketplaces. The first and foremost are the customers who look for information. The customers are always interested in looking out for information, moving ahead by undertaking the search process. They try to collect a lot of information when one wants to go for the purchasing of goods or availing the services. If we take into consideration the sellers basically are to sell the goods and the services. They are also on the lookout for customers. So here how the seller portrays their offering is of prime importance. If the company is directly having its own website, then reaching to the masses, reaching to the customers is a very important part of the strategy. Whether how to create awareness, whether you want to go for the advertising or maybe some other aspect. That is a challenging task for the seller. Second thing is attracting the customers is one of the important aspect. That is designing of the website or the web page is of prime importance here. The more attractive the page is, the more informative, the more is the chance for the pool of customers visiting the website. It again depends upon the type of products or category of services, of course. When one thinks of products and services, they are the broad range of products and services which are to be placed on these portals. When the customer has a look at the offering or maybe the service package, then only they come to know about these offerings. So while focusing on the offerings or the services, the manufacturer has to take care about the content which is displayed and communicated to the customers. When we take the infrastructure into consideration, the internet, the hardware mechanism, the software systems, the operating systems all play a very vital role, and hence they are also the component of the e-marketplace. When we talk of front end, it is the portal, that is the face, which is interacting with the customers, the catalog, a shopping cart, the search engine, the optimum utilization of search engine, that is mapping of the keywords with the requirements of the customer perceptions, is very need based in today's era. Similarly, the payment gateways and order placing options. So here, whatever is in the forefront, which the customer has a glance at, it is known as the at the front end. Okay, and back end means it is with reference to order fulfillment, supplying, accounting, finance, insurance, payment processes, packaging and delivery, inventory management. These are all at the back end where the customer is not at all concerned. It is up to the company to see to it that how they fulfill the order placed by the customers. That is what it means here. So this is about the front end and the back end aspects of the e-market places. Now next is the disintermediation and reintermediation. Now intermediaries provide three types of services, like they provide relevant information about maybe the demand, the supply, the prices, and the trading requirements. They also match the sellers with the buyers, and then offer value added services that with the transfer of products, payment arrangements, consulting, etc. Now, the first two are the services that can be fully automated. The third requires expertise, such as knowledge of industry, the market, the product, and the technological trends. Intermediaries that provide only first two types of services may be eliminated, and just the third one is carried out. This is known as the disintermediation. Now, here, if you can take an example of the direct company in collaboration with the customers, there are no intermediaries. That is, you can say, disintermediation. While brokers who manage electronic intermediation are not only surviving but may also be prospering, like Travelocity.com or Expedia.com. This phenomena in which the disintermediary, the entities are there, or the newcomer takes on the role of new intermediaries. It is called as reintermediation. So today it depends upon the companies which mode they would inculcate in the digital business framework, whether they directly want to be in contact with the customers or whether they would like to have an intermediary between the customer and the company. So this is about the disintermediation and reintermediation. Now, when the company thinks of having somebody in between, the share of the revenues would be a part of it would be shared with the intermediary. While when the company is directly associated with the customers, then they just need to have the customers. Employees, because the company means the employees would be directly communicating with the customers here. That is what it means. Now, any doubts as far as these terms are considered? Hello. We will continue in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.